So, first of all, I take responsibility for my behavior, and that doesn't always happen with other people. I try to be as authentic as I can, keep all my agreements, basically take good care of myself, balance my life, and try to make my life work the best it can. And I don't rescue other people. I found I used to do that, but I found it just didn't work very well for me. So I don't do it anymore, and I don't recommend it. And rescue is doing something for somebody who didn't ever ask you to do it. You just wanted to do it because you thought you could do it better than they could, and that always puts one down. Uh, I know my own personal psychology pretty well. I've studied myself uh, as an object of study, and everything I do with my clients, I've tried on myself. So I've really learned, and as I've found new things that would help me better understand my personal psychology, I tried them on to see if they worked. If they did, I used them with my clients. If they didn't, I threw them away. So I also believe that one of the problems we have now is that not all therapists know how to deal with trauma. And I think all therapists should know how to deal with trauma, how to recognize it, how to treat it, how to help people through trauma. And it's sad to see that the training of therapists doesn't include much about how to deal with trauma. I also believe in equal gender rights, and I believe women and men should be treated equally, should be paid the same for the same work. I also believe that we all have a right to die. Now, Colorado has a right to die law, as so does Oregon and several other states. So it's a well thought out process for people who have terminal illnesses who are just basically not going to get any better and are suffering. They should have a right to die with dignity, and hopefully that will be a movement that will start to grow more in this country. Also, I know this country's history. I used to teach it. I was a history teacher, but I noticed also what was missing when I taught it, and I would have to add things that were not in the textbook. And so I think knowing our country's history is the best way we can avoid repeating it, the bad things that happen. Uh, I also don't believe in censorship. I don't believe that we should censor things that people have a right to uh, do and see and read and watch whatever they feel like is appropriate for them. I know the state of Tennessee just made a law banning all drag shows. I mean, that's kind of stupid, I think. Uh, all families deserve public support, and we don't really support families very well. So I'm a champion of family support, family leave, uh, all the different like home visitation services and other services that help families, particularly poor families, do a better job of parenting. Because I know that that's an investment that will carry us a long way. Uh, the next one is I think critical race theory should be taught in schools. I don't see anything wrong with helping people understand how racism permeated our history and also understand the how that operates sometimes outside the our kind of our usual kind of way of looking at racism. So I think it's an important contribution to our understanding, and anything that teaches us how to treat each other better in life. I think children should learn that in school. I think also there's a big issue now about personal pronouns. I think people have the right to use or ask for whatever personal program pronouns they want to be referred to. And I don't have a big issue about that. Also, 12, I feel like all elections should be publicly funded. We should get all private money, dark money out of elections. Nothing's going to really change in our broken political system until we do that. And how long that's going to take, I don't know, but it's absolutely essential as far as I'm concerned. Uh, we have also, I think, a right to universal health care. It is a right, not something we earned or a privilege. And that's, I know, a big issue that some people don't think it's a right. Well, I do. That's one of my beliefs. I also believe in a woman's right to choose. I think that getting the government involved in that decisions that women have to make with their doctors about abortion is inappropriate, and it also is demeaning to women to have the government tell them what they can and can do about their own health care. And paid family leave, which I mentioned earlier, absolutely, at least a year for both mother and father. Uh, I think anyone who's a citizen in this country has a responsibility to vote. And I mean, people have excuses. We should make it as easy as possible for them. I mean, I think there should be a national holiday where no one has to go to work on election day. That would be the easiest way to make it more possible for people. They wouldn't have to take off a day of work to go vote. Although some states like Colorado has a mail-in ballot, so you don't even have to go to anywhere to vote, which makes it easier. So I think that's a good move as well. And then I mentioned earlier the free home visitation programs. Research on that's very clear that where there's a home visitor present, uh, uh, for new parents particularly, there's no child and abuse present in that family. That somehow the home visitor provides a level of support that takes a lot of the pressure off parents, which often is what causes abuse and even neglect. Well, I think that people have the right to personal choice of their sexual orientation. Again, the government has no right to interfere with that. And then number 19 is one that I don't hear much about, but I think anyone who goes and buys a gun ought to be required to take a gun safety class. I mean, when we get a license to drive a car, we have to pass tests to know that we can drive the car safely. Why shouldn't we have to prove that we can operate a gun safely? And then absolutely no weapons of war. We shouldn't be selling weapons of war to ordinary people. They can't use them for hunting, and there's more guns in this country than there are people right now. And I think that is really needs to change. And then also, I think we need to teach conflict resolution in schools because a lot of our mass shooters never don't know how to resolve conflict except through violent ways. If they learn peaceful ways, effective ways, they wouldn't have to resort to those kind of extreme measures to resolve conflicts. So those are kind of off the top of my head 21 beliefs about how woke I am. and and I don't care if anyone targets me about those. I think they're important to me, and
Mhm.
as a citizen with First Amendment rights, I have a right to speak what I believe, and that doesn't harm anyone else. And you're right, you have a right to believe whatever you want to believe too. And I don't intend to want to try to prevent you from exercising your beliefs. And we'll let the political system decide which beliefs